Welcome to Ghana's #1 relationship talk show. Welcome to Sister Sister. My name is AJ Akwakosapo. I'm your host. And for the next 60 minutes, we are live on 97.3 Citi FM and as well live on Citi TV. And we get to talk about all things relationship to you. So basically, if you're going through anything that you don't understand, that you need some help figuring out what to do, you send your message or your letter in to Sister Sister, and me and the most awesome set of women will sit, analyze, and help you figure out the next best thing to do. Of course, we are very happy to be coming from live from Life Made Furniture, located in North Industrial Area. And of course, a very big thank you to our proud sponsors, Kel Kids Toothpaste, Onga, Mama's Helping Hand, and as well, a very big thank you to Ghana AIDS Commission Red Ribbon Campaign. When I come back, a lot more right here on Sister Sister. Welcome to the one, the only, the biggest, and the longest running relationship talk show, Sister Sister. You're tuned in to Sister Sister right here on Citi TV and live as well on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is AJ Akwagosapo. A very big thank you to our proud sponsors, Onga, Mama's Helping Hand, Kel Kids Toothpaste, and Ghana AIDS Commission Red Ribbon Campaign. Now, with Sister Sisters, like the name implies, I have the most incredible, beautiful, eloquent, and very feisty set of women who help me go through whatever it is that you sent in for the week, and we'll try and give you the answers that you need right here on the show. Allow me to introduce on my far left, the very gorgeous, in purple, of course, the one who knows how to get it on, Rosie. What it do? Always matching. It's like purple dress, red shoes, red watch, red phone, red hair. You gotta go in on. Oh, red glasses, isn't it?
Always,
hey,
always.
Come on. I love it.
I wish I could get red teeth.
Let's see what we'll do. But how you doing?
I'm doing great.
How's
Fabulous.
your week been?
It's been good. It's been good. It's been good.
You like
it's
it,
been
you
good.
like it.
It's been good.
Don't worry, the dollar will
And
stabilize.
better with all of you around.
Oh, come on. It's like someone's dashed you $1,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's leave it that. And of course, blondes have a lot of fun, and she decided to go just that way. So it's always good to see you, Olivia. Do blondes really do have that much fun?
I guess.
It's what
I'm trying to be today. So I'm hoping.
But
to
you
have
look
fun.
lovely. How's
Thank
your week
you.
been?
It's been great. It's been great.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
We're glad to have you here.
Yes.
And someone who is like a yin to my yang, honestly. She gets me, I think. Yeah, the very lovely Felicia. What it do, baby? You look like you purple here, purple there. There's some red going on as well. There's some orange. I like the colors. I'm the only one that didn't get a memo. It's okay. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Fantastic.
I'm doing well, yeah.
We're glad.
But I feel better on set today.
You know it. It's the sister energy. The sister energy. It always sets everything right. Now let's get into our story for the week, shall we? Sisters, are we ready?
Yep.
Because
Yes,
this one is
we
a
are.
good one. Dear sisters, I am a 32-year-old and dating a man who's based in the UK. He's been abroad for the last 5 years and has been unable to return home because he hasn't received his papers to stay. AJ, honestly, he's tried many means and done many things to try and get us together, but all his efforts have failed. This has resulted in our relationship being heavily reliant on our phones and social media. I had high hopes that by now we should be together. However, I feel my resolve waning in spite of what we've been through. Sisters, I've met a very calm, respectable, God-fearing man who makes me the happiest lady. He treats me like a queen, respects me, and I can rely on him. And he's always on my beck and call. The problem here is he's willing and even ready to marry me as soon as possible, even when I told him about my long-distance relationship. But he's married with 2 kids and wants me to be his second wife. My heart is in 2 places now. I love my boyfriend, but I can't seem to see any hope for our relationship, and I'm also in love with a new guy too. When I asked my mother, she told me that I should leave the one in the UK and marry the one who's here in Ghana with me, as I am not growing any younger at 32, and shouldn't waste my life waiting for a man that might find someone in the UK to marry. She insists that being a second wife was not the worst thing. AJ, should I wait and hope that this guy in the UK will eventually come and marry me? Or should I go to the one who loves me and get married, but as a second wife? Please help me out on what to do, as I'm very confused and a worried soul currently. Dun, dun, dun. A page turner. Olivia tried not to do that. She's like, don't look at me. So because of that, I won't look at you. I'll go to Rosie.
Oh no!
Blame Olivia. She's like, don't look at me.
Come on.
Handle it.
Take one for the team today.
Oh dear
But
Lord.
Rosie, what are your thoughts about this one?
Initially, I was going in a direction, but towards the end, I'm now going in that direction
Eesh.
because, okay, so the dynamics, right? So the boyfriend, they're not married yet. He's in the UK. He's struggling for papers. So pretty much until he gets those papers, he can't
there's
move.
nothing happening.
He can't go
Yeah.
anywhere. All right, 5 years though, that's a
Yes,
long time. But
it
I know
is.
people who've taken longer time to get the papers. That's done. Now, the thing is, boyfriend, girlfriend, in as much as we are trying to be committed to each other, there's no guarantee. And you don't even know what he's doing in the 5 years. I would be very, I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want to think, assume, presume,
That
give me
he's
more adjectives.
sitting somewhere
That he's
waiting for
sitting
you.
there for 5 years.
Untouched. What no
Times
good for a
12 months, times 365 days, and the firewood has not burnt itself. I'm not understanding. You know, I need some. So which means that he's probably doing some extracurricular activity.
on the side.
And probably, that's what I said, probably.
On the side,
On
small
the side,
thing.
small. Maybe an activity that involves the outer shell, but not
Just hold
but
body
not
and
the
soul,
heart.
and
You
just
understand?
holding body and soul, yeah.
But let's come to the ladies' side too. Now, the till end shows that you two, you are not sitting idle.
Clearly not.
You see, my problem is that when you are going through a serious relationship that you hold dear to your heart, don't allow things to bring noise into the relationship, because relationships that are built on substance are not very easy to maintain.
Right.
You understand? It takes a lot of hard work, perseverance, commitment, understanding, all the works. The moment you find somebody who seems easy available, you've already told this man that, look, I have a long-standing boyfriend somewhere. Charlie, he knows that he's not the main guy. He can afford to do everything you want him to do. And besides, your expectations for him is the bar is set low. Because in your mind, that is not my substantive boyfriend.
Exactly.
So he will find it very easy to meet it. My question is that what is the real substance of you and your original boyfriend coming together? You know, it's not just about getting somebody to marry. I mean, people can easily just pick any male homo sapien and say, let's go get married, or female homo sapien, let's just go and do this. But the question is that because it's a lifelong commitment, and even in a case where both of you are willing, consenting, you're in love with each other, it's not easy. I'm yet to find a married person who says that, oh, as soon as I got married, it's been a bed of roses for the past 10 years, everything has been lovey-dovey. I'm yet to see one. You understand? So it's not easy. So it's a journey that you have to take calculatedly.
Right.
It has to be your own decision. You have to know why you are getting into it. Otherwise, you wake up tomorrow morning and then you realize that this is not what I want, by which time it's too late, you've popped babies and so many things have happened.
Yeah.
So all I'll tell the lady is that, look, ask yourself, why did you get into a relationship with your first boyfriend? 1. 2, what is the nature of your relationship now? Why did you find the need to give somebody else attention? Is it because there's something wrong with your relationships? Are there red flags that you were not willing to admit to before and now you are willing to admit to it? And make sure that you are not moving on just because he hasn't gotten his papers. And that means that the value you put on your relationship is basically papers.
No, but the fact that you are physically unable to be with a person.
It's true. I've said it several times. Look, when you're physically unable to be with your partner, what it means is that on paper, you've been together for 5 years, for 10 years. But realistically, your relationship can be a month old or 2 months old or at most a year old. You understand? So it's a problem. But the question is that what are you doing about it? Only papers. But is there a way you can get there to visit?
And I think they've tried that, because she did say that he had tried everything to get them together. So I think they've gone to a point where she had tried to come, but that had also met.
So exactly. So if you are
brick
being
wall.
frustrated, right, by the process, and both of you get to this stage where you feel like this is not going to happen, without any regrets. I don't have any problem with her moving on because it's not a marriage. It's a relationship. And this is all part of the reasons why people date, to see whether they can sustain it, whether they can carry it to the next level. However, my problem, that's why I said that in the beginning, it wasn't rocket science for me. I'm like, look, if you're not getting what you want out of the relationship, it's not convenient, and then you have to, your time is based on a time that is not definite, you can't even plan with it, then why not? I mean, by all means. But as it got to the tail end, my question is that, is your inability not to wait based on some other person coming into your life? It should be your decision. That's what I want to say. That your decision to discontinue the former relationship should be your decision based on real issues that you and your boyfriend are confronted with. Not because there's somebody who is giving you attention. Because most ladies tend to move from one relationship to another because this one is more rosy, and you think that's going to be like that till the end of whatever. But it doesn't happen. So if you're leaving the other relationship because, well, both of you are not accessible to each other, which is a valid point. Both of you probably don't know each other, which is a valid point. You don't know how much he's changed over 5 years, valid point. You don't know what he's doing there, valid point. Everything is valid. So you can actually move on a relationship without necessarily having to bring in this new guy coming in.
Okay, but I'll come to your thoughts about the concept of her becoming the second wife, but I will ask Olivia this one. Clearly, 5 years, he tried to make this relationship work. You don't really see much of a future because at least if he's even going to wait for his papers, it's like a 10-year process before he will now get it. And then he will now say, okay, you come, I come, she's 32. Another 5 years will put her at 37. And this is hoping that in that 5 years, he doesn't find another woman and start his life with her, make his process also easier. There's a man who she claims honestly makes her the happiest woman in the world. He does everything for her. He's good, and she honestly finds peace with him, but she's torn. This is someone I've known for 5 years. This person is great, but do you go with the devil you know, or do you go for this new angel? And second wife equation. Is it the concept of being the second wife to this new person something she should consider, Olivia?
Definitely not.
Why not?
And I'm sad that her mother is actually advising her to consider to be second fiddle. And
break it down for me.
two things. It depends. Is this person who is looking to come into her life, is he of a different, are they like Muslims? Is it something that's acceptable within their belief cycle or their belief system? If yes, by all means, because we do know that, Muslims tend to, it's something that they do. So if that's the norm, then by all means, I'll be like, thumbs up, go for it, girl. That's what you know, and that's what is the norm for you on a regular day. But to this guy, right, he knows he's got a second wife, and he's made his intentions known to you. So it's not like he's actually hiding or sneaking anything, or he's just told you that, yo, I want you to be the second wife. Yeah. My thing is, why would you want to do that? That's just my opinion. Like, why would you? You're adverse I am so adverse to that particular idea because. So what? You're not getting married. So because you're not getting married, you want to settle for less. And are you thinking about assuming that it's a Christian home, right? Is it something that his father? I would love to know the historical pattern of the man. If it's something that they do, if it's something that is accepted, and it doesn't involve him or her ruining the family's life, ruining another woman who is at peace, who loves her husband to bits and is staying faithful and thinking that, he's doing the same. Exactly, he's doing the same. Then I will have a problem with that. I will have a problem with him thinking his wife is boring, therefore he needs to move on and get somebody else, but he wants to do it and prove to her that he really loves her. I would have a big problem with that because as far as I'm concerned, in the context of Christianity and marriage and what we believe in, a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife. As far as I'm concerned, it was Adam and Eve. It wasn't Adam and Eve's. And it says your wife. It didn't say your wives. And as much as most people are going to go on about the fact that, Christianity and the whole thing is about, we live in a polygamous, society, and it's about time that we appreciate and accept that. That's what they believe. But personally, me sitting here, I don't want to be somebody's second fiddle. I don't want to be breaking somebody else's heart. This woman who is also married, sitting here somewhere, the children, and this whole thing about being involved, I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. I can't, God forbid, see myself advising my daughter, oh, nobody is getting married. And for me, the fact that she's still in a relationship with that guy and she hasn't officially closed things off, like it's done, it's dusted, it's over, and she's opening herself. I don't care what the guy is doing. I don't know what the guy is doing, but you're telling me what you're doing. My thing is, if you're in a relationship with somebody, if it's a long distance relationship, and you know that, Charlie, you can't deal, tell the guy, now, Masa, I love you to bits. It's been 5 years. I can't deal. Life is really passing me by. I need to settle down, and let the guy know. Close that chapter. But don't be in a relationship and consider having, you know, she's currently in 2 relationships because she doesn't know what to do.
Which one is which?
Which one is which? Personally, I'm not gonna ask you to marry this guy, and I'm gonna ask you, you know what, if this other guy is not your cup of tea, tell him and let him know that, I can't do long distance relationship, and wean yourself off both relationships. That's
both. She's found her perfect guy.
Perfect guy. The question is she going to ruin somebody else's family?
I'll come to that. Felicia, are you team Olivia, where you say second wife not in the least?
So when you started the story, I was thinking one direction, because personally I'm against long distance relationship, especially with these people abroad. Because before, but back in school when I used to travel, I got to know a few of them, and I know their stories. They will come out clean, be like, yeah, my girlfriend and stuff like that. Before you say Jack, they are baby daddies. Like almost all the guys I met, there's a story, especially those looking for papers. Because paper issue is a whole different ball game out there. Because then it's like, oh, I'm looking for papers. I met this woman, and I was living with her. And there's always a story. So my friends who know me know that I always advise that, please, if he's out there and you don't have any plans of traveling to be with him anytime soon, you better end this relationship and move on. Then you came with the story of this lovely, doubly gentleman taking all the boxes and stuff, and I was like, second wife issue. I was like, So for me, it's neither here nor there.
Okay.
None of them ticks the box for you, girl. You are here telling us you are 32 years and you need to get married. Sis, you are not doing what you need to get married. It's time for you to sit down, have a list, and tell yourself, what do I want? Yes, she might be someone who can do long distance. I told you I can't do long distance. I don't agree to long distance. I wouldn't advise any friend of mine to do long distance, especially with a man looking for papers abroad. Let me be clear, because I've seen a lot of that. So start putting down a list of what you want. If long distance is what works for you and you can wait for 10 years and you can tolerate all the stories that will come with it and still be with your man, maybe you are looking to travel too, that is it. But girl, if you really want marriage as you claim you want and you are here calculating how much time you have left and all that, you don't need any of these guys. Put down a list and start doing what you need to do to get married. Go out there. There are lots of men out there. These men, avail yourself. Why are you
there are
stuck
lots
with
of men out there, but they're very. I could honestly say, the men that you want are not as much as the men that are available, because it's different meeting a man and very different your spec or what you look for in a man. To see that you are having a God-fearing, a generous, an amazing, a man who makes you feel happy, who centers and dotes on you, and to say, I'm going to walk away from that. Realistically, walk away from that, because
I'm going to be
though he wants to do the honorable thing, except that you just be wife number 2. Because some would have said, I want you to be my side chick forever, which is also an option that someone can throw away. But he actually, I could say, appreciate her enough to want to do the honorable thing by her, of which her family say that, well, it's not the worst thing in the world. You could do worse.
No, but AJ, honorable as in, what happens to the first wife? And Olivia made a very important point. Is she in agreement with this? Does she know what is going to happen? How does that affect the first wife? That is why I'm like, that is a no-no. Unless you want to be a second wife and both wives are ready to have this man as a husband, or probably you are Muslims and it's a norm in your, society and all that. But I'm very worried about the first wife, how she will feel about it. How does this decision affect her?
Okay, let me come to Rosie.
I was saying that, look, I think that it's not cliche, but as Africans, right? Having a second wife is nothing new to an African. And it's not just typical to Ghanaians or to Nigerians. All over Africa, it's nothing new. Okay, but it's Christianity and certain forms of religion that has made it, even in fact, in the Bible, I don't see where in the Bible they said one man, one wife. Seriously, or maybe when the Bible that all the people that we look up to when we are quoting, some of them had plenty women that they in their lives. Exactly. So you see, let's not kid ourselves. However, there's a reason why ideally one man, one wife should be it. And if that is what you believe in, okay, me like this, I cannot be a second wife. I cannot be a first and even tolerate a second one because I know myself. You understand? It's not even about religious, but my personal principles do not allow that. You understand? Because there are people who grow up in religious settings, but they may differ a little, they may be accommodating of certain things. But by all means, don't kid yourself. Now, the other man coming in, the question is that what agreements did he have with his current wife at the point of coming together? Was it to have a one-man, one-wife sort of marriage? Investigate and see whether the marriage that they have was according to the ordinance, which permits only one man to one wife. Otherwise, this is the one ordinance. They'll just come and use some few chin-ups with some ankles and come and see your parents, and you think you are married. But legally, you are probably not recognized by law.
Isn't the traditional setting and taking a traditional wife, well, the ordinance makes it legally you have one wife, but traditionally you're capable of taking more than one wife.
No, so exactly. So when your first wife is also married traditionally, you can keep doing traditional up to 20 or even 30 if that's what you can accommodate. However, once you marry one according to the ordinance, that ordinance permits only one man to be married to one wife. That is why when you are not even divorced and you go and marry another woman again, it's actually, you could actually be jailed for that. You understand? So I'm just saying that, look, for me, it's not about, because you see, she didn't say she's a Christian or even she's a Christian, the extent to which she takes it. I appreciate that. I appreciate your beliefs. But let me not use my beliefs to override somebody else's beliefs or principles. My question is that don't be in a hurry to get married to another man. This man already has a wife who's doing everything for him, blah, 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 blah. He has the time to be the perfect man for you. You understand? Number two, he wants to pick you as a second wife. In what capacity? Is the wife knowing that there's a second wife coming in? Is she in agreement? Is this something that works well for her? Is this something that works well for you? Because I know families who have more than one wives and the wives are in sync. I have a friend whose father married 3 women and had children with them in between, and each child is getting married. The 3 women will wear the same attire. And when they say, oh, whose mother is this, the 3 of them show up proudly. In fact, you can't even tell whose child belongs to who. And it's working fine for them. There's no confusion. But you see, it's not women who were brought in that they didn't want to be brought into that mix, or those who were before were disheartened, crying in the middle of the night, praying and quoting scriptures on your head. So my question is that, look, you as an individual, even if it's permissible by the man and the man's wife, by your own set of principles, by what you can handle, what you can take, do you want to be a second wife? Why were you waiting for this man for 5 years? It's because second wife is not in your books. You see, if you are willing to be a second wife, then be willing to have this man marry some other guy there. On your papers now what about your second wife, Amano? Do you understand? Okay, I'm saying that the principle of second wife is not, I don't want to stain it on the face of it, say, oh, because Christianity abhors it, but you as an individual, can you be the woman there Is she okay with you coming in as a second wife? Look, the dynamics of look, one woman cries too much. Two women, it's not a joke.
Yeah. No.
So my thing is that me on the face of it, I'll say, look, like she said, first one, the long distance is not working. It's not going to end anyway. Second one, the guy is already married. Look, he doesn't have to do too much to win your affection. Your bar for him is already set low. Rather, forget these two. Ask yourself what you want, because as it is now, but I say, she's gone, he's gone abroad, you are waiting, he's not coming. Okay, this one is also, so okay. For me, that's my problem. She doesn't know what she wants.
Right.
So sit by yourself, know what you want, go to places where you find people you want. You should look like you are making a decision as to who you want, not because this person says he wants to marry me. And look, I got married way after 32. Okay, I've had children way after 32. And I could still have one if I wanted to. And I still look fine as it is, you know what I mean?
You definitely
I'm 40
do.
plus, my kids are all under 5 and they are still moving around. So please, 32 is not an age that you can't go beyond. Like, you need to marry at 32 at all costs.
Yeah.
Look, I attended the most beautiful wedding on the planet. Look, the lady got married 50 plus. It was so beautiful. It was so emotional. I don't think I've ever cried and felt all that love at a wedding before. So you see, this rush about biological clock, I have to do this, I have to do that, causing you to make decisions that you can't own, you can't accept, you're not happy with, that will cause you even more sleepless nights after in life. I don't agree. So I would agree with my two sisters. Maybe it's just the direction or the angle we are looking at it. But the first one is not for you. The second one, to by all means, is not for you.
May not be for you.
May not be for you. Charlie, and do you even know the first wife? For you know, he'll marry you and put you in some closet somewhere. Because some men do that. They'll marry you and put you in some closet. They'll build a house for you. And then it's only at the funeral, when the man dies, then you now come and be struggling that I'm also part of his wife's story.
And on that note, we're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, even more right here on Sister Sister.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. Citi TV, it's your world.
You're tuned in to Sister Sister right here on 97.3 Citi FM and on Citi TV. My name is Adia Kwakosapon, and I'm here with my wonderful sisters, Rosie, Olivia, and Felicia. Moving into the next story from a lady called Akuya. She says, "Dear sisters, my name is Akuya and I happen to have met a guy about 2 years ago and we began dating. He's a great guy and a very successful businessman and very generous to me. He has even proposed marriage to me and is making plans towards that effect. A few months into our relationship, I traveled to the USA for a month for a training course for work, and whilst there, happened to have met another guy and we became friends. However, on a night out to celebrate when we completed, I got intoxicated, then we slept together. But I was so ashamed after the ordeal, I quickly cut all contact with the guy and very soon came back to Ghana and tried to forget it ever happened. My fiancé's business partner and best friend came to Ghana and were to take him to dinner. Imagine my horror when, lo and behold, his business partner was a gentleman I met while on training and had a one-night stand with." Sisters, imagine how shocked I was to see him. I was scared he was going to say something to my fiancé, but surprisingly he didn't. I got a call a few days later and it was him, my one-night stand, who called to tell me he still wants me and asking why I shut him off after that night and how he can't get me out of his mind. That, my ladies, was the beginning of my torture. This man has been harassing me for about 6 months now, ever since I saw him again. He's been sending me text messages at night, begging me to consider him instead of my fiancé, who I love. He's constantly trying to entice me with all sort of incentives, promising me wealth and property if I choose him over my boyfriend, and when that began to fail, has now resorted to threats to destroy my boyfriend's career and all that he's worked for in the company. Now, he's turned to threatening me that if he doesn't sleep with me at least one more time, he's going to tell my fiancé everything and even embellish with more lies. He has begun working on those threats as he's currently working to undermine my fiancé at work and give him a tough time, even though they are both partners in the company. Now I don't know what to do. I feel like my partner will not stop harassing me. His partner will not stop harassing me and will continue to torment my boyfriend till I give in. I do not want to be a reason a successful business relationship and a great friendship will come to an end because of one night of my stupidity. How do I go on about this? What should I do? One night of stupidity has led to 6 months of pure torture. You don't think it was stupidity?
It was a mistake.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a mistake and it can happen to anyone. Because if I understood the story, they were just friends. They went out for drinks.
They got drunk.
There's nothing wrong with going out for drinks with a friend. And they got drunk. And something happened.
A lot happened.
A lot happened, yes.
All night long.
And she was remorseful about that.
She was.
She deleted the guy's contact and everything.
Run away and
came back home, cleaned her sheets, and moved on with her boyfriend. And this guy came like out of nowhere as the boyfriend's or the fiancé's partner. If I was to be this girl, right after meeting this guy, I'll go straight to my guy and tell him what happened. Because in situations like this, it's either a hit or miss. Because when these things happen, you know in your hearts that it can go either way or the other direction. So your boyfriend can either understand and accept to keep you. And remember, if that happens, you might have to deal with torture of him bringing it up once in a while for the rest of your life. If you agree to doing that, fair enough. But I believe that she should have just gone ahead to tell the boyfriend what happened and allowed him to make a decision.
And lose a good man?
It's either way. It's either here nor there. If he finds out from his guy and he wants to leave you, he would leave you. If he will leave you from hearing this from you, he will still leave you. But to save yourself and, hold on to that 20% of him staying with you or that 1% of staying with you, go ahead and let him know what happened. Because it's best for it to come from you than to come from somebody else. Now, see how this is turning out. This guy is going to say what happened and more. But you could have said it and controlled the narrative. And trust me, if this guy is as good as he is, and loves you as you claim he does, and as a gentleman as he is, he will understand you. It might take a while. He will battle with it. He will be hurt. He will be this. He will be that. And explain to him why you didn't tell him when you came back. Because these are not things you easily open up to share. Until you feel like, no, the time has come for me to share. Because in relationships, you should be careful the kind of things you share. They should be things that will affect your partner. When the mistake happened, at that moment, it was nothing to do. It had nothing to do. It was the decision you made. It was an unfortunate occurrence. So that one, I felt like there was no need for you to come and tell him blah, 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 and cause unnecessary scare. But this time around, you've realized this partner you had this guy you had this mistake with is your boyfriend's business partner. Right after the dinner, call your boyfriend in, guy, this is what happened to me. And let him know that you are ready to accept whatever he comes up with. Because girl, if you are going into a long-term relation, that is marriage, you should know that things will come. All these things, it could have happened in your marriage and you'd have to face the beats of the drum. So you'd have to either way have a conversation with your husband. And luckily for you, it didn't happen as a couple. It happened as boyfriend, girlfriend. So what do you do? Yes, face it. It's better for you to control the narrative than to allow someone else control a narrative for you.
Wow.
It wouldn't have brought all these issues. I think it would have avoided all that.
I get where you're coming from. Olivia?
To every action, there's a reaction. And we need to be more responsible with our actions and take responsibility when we are wrong or when something happens. Every decision you make, there are consequences to the decisions we make. The way you lay your bed, that's exactly how you end up sleeping in it. And this is a perfect case. And even if you were married or not married, you faulted, your partner needs to know. I don't think it's something you should be keeping from your partner. And the more you delay, the worse things are going to get. And like Felicia said, whether you say it sooner or later, the harm has already been caused. And you need to start psyching yourself and owning that everything is your fault. And you slipped, whatever it is that happened. Next time you be more responsible. You wouldn't be at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person doing the wrong things. Simple as that. And you'll be more careful. You would not be drinking if you know that if you drink your knickers, it makes it easy for your knickers to come down. Because these are real life situations. And I don't want to be making you feel any worse than you already are feeling. But the experiences, you learn from it and you move on. But you should know that either way, it's not going to be easy. And that's J-E-R key of the other guy, K of the other guy, doesn't deserve you. Don't even consider him as an option.
Of course.
Because it will be easy for you to say, okay, if my boyfriend that I love
doesn't want me
and I'm desperate to be in a relationship, this guy wants me anyway, so let me just go to him. What comes around, goes around, comes around. In some years to come, he's going to use that to accuse you when you when you go out and you don't come home early. Hey, yo, where were you? Did you go out drinking? Or when you sit at home and you want to have a glass of wine, where are you coming from? Why does your breath smell of alcohol? Who did you sleep with? Let me expect you for JJ. A whole lot of sunny, and you don't want that. It's a bitter pill to swallow, and it's very difficult. But as soon as possible, please do tell your fiancé, because he deserves to know and he deserves the right to make the decision. And in the light that he actually decides that he's going to forgive you and take you and marry you, you need to assume a position of tolerance towards him. Because in a way, you need to be indebted to him. And you need to appreciate him. And the thing is, do you want to be in a long-lasting relationship whereby you feel like you are not worth it? Whereby you're constantly going to be reminded of the mistake you made? There's a lot to think about here. But the earlier you do it, the better, because you should not hold this information away from your guy. Spill it.
6 months. Has she already wasted 6 months that she could have come clean with, as against dealing with the constant calls and messages and threats and harassment from this one-night stand?
You mean the 6 months after, like,
she
should have just said immediately?
He's been harassing her for 6 months.
You see, the thing is that sometimes when you're in a relationship, even though you guys are comfortable and you feel like, oh, we're getting married and everything, sometimes you need a test like this to kick you back and like, no, this is what I really want. I cannot lose this to put you in check. I'm not justifying it, because we need to, like Olivia said, be responsible for all our actions, because especially when it comes to sex. You see, sex is not something that you should just do thinking like, oh, you just hug somebody or just give somebody a peg, or, you know, just hi, or just, you know, flirted with somebody a little bit. Sex is a big deal. It's a big deal. It has spiritual implications, physical implications, medical implications sometimes. It has so many implications. But sometimes when you're in relationships and everything's going on so well, you think you like the person. Something happens and it kicks your brain. You're like, hold on. I don't think I want to lose this man. And that's why she quickly did away with that relationship. That put aside. Now, I don't think anybody who felt like this thing didn't mean anything to me, yes, it was a mistake, it was done, will quickly come running their mouth, unless, of course, they are sure the kind of man that they are with. Or maybe they might think that, look, the chances of meeting this man, Charlie, if it's not important, why say? My problem here is that men have a way of telling their brothers, bro, this chick, she no correct because I've done A, B, C, D, E. The reason why he's attacking you is because he knows the value his friend puts on you.
Yeah.
So he needs to attack you from your end so that you lose that value yourself. So that it's easy to justify to his friend that you're not worth it. And the sad news is that after he does that, he is not going to be with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He is not going to be with you. There are men like that who are quick to threaten you, and because you are afraid to lose. And I keep saying, whatever you are afraid to lose, you probably eventually lose anyway. Sometimes, yes, the mistake is not justifiable. You yourself, you know, you called it an act of stupidity, or, you know, that's the adjective you gave it. That means that you yourself, you're not proud of yourself.
Yeah.
So like Olivia said, let's not go into that, you know, that phase. But the thing is that the reason why he is not man enough to confront his friend and he's attacking you is because deep down in his heart, he knows the kind of person you are. He knows the kind of person, because if they are very good friends, they are partners. He's spoken to him about you severally. And the sad bit is that he's probably heard about you 2 years, even known that it is the same person, but he never said anything to his bestie.
Yeah.
Because he wanted an opportunity to do something really against you and make you feel like, oh, he wants you and everything. Any man who will blackmail you into a relationship is not man enough. Why do you want to blackmail me?
Yeah.
Me or nobody else. You want to go and do what you want to do. My only mistake is that I like talking. So the thing is that as soon as I realized that this was it, thankfully, at that time, it was the beginning stage of the relationship. So you could go like, yes, it wasn't right, but, you know, we hadn't decided on anything, and I was out somewhere. It's an honest mistake. I can't even explain it away. Quickly, as soon as you saw the man that dinner, that evening,
Yeah.
even if you don't say it as it is, start by these test questions. Oh, I have a friend, that kind of thing, and you know, and if you realize the first time the man calls you to tell you anything, come clean. That for me, that would have been my cue, my final cue to come clean with my man. Because listen, I'd rather lose you after 1 year than invest my heart even more and lose you after 5 years.
Yeah.
The quicker, the better.
Right.
You know, kaba, you are done. You understand? So the moment you sat on it, you sit on it. Now the question is that now, those messages he's sending you, if the guy manages to chance on those messages by mistake, quote unquote, on his friend's phone,
it would
seem like you're
so
in
much,
on it. Then you're not come to explain from the back end.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't my fault. He was saying this, and I was even trying to. Sometimes it's easier, better.
Come clean.
Come clean, and look. And before you come clean, in your mind, make up your mind that, Charlie, one leg is out, the second leg cries, only the toes that are inside. So that in case you are disappointed, it's very easy to sort of handle your load and still maintain your balance on the outside. If it goes the other way too, then you also re-strategize. And this would be a story to be told, a testimony to be told in future if everything works well. And the fact that the friend is not telling the friend, I'm thinking that, look, your fiancé or your boyfriend is a man of substance who would not leave you over this. Of course, you have some price to pay, some consequences, you know, there should be consequences to your actions, but I don't think that he would leave you. Personally, I'm not getting that feeling like he's going to leave you. But the more you delay it, the more that will become a reality.
But there's something that drew my attention. If you love your fiancé enough, the earlier you tell him, the better. The reason being, he has no business having this guy as a friend, as his business partner.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
He's out for his work.
Yes.
His work
Exactly.
interest.
And exactly.
Like
Yes.
so not right.
Yes.
He's the kind of guy who would look at you, smile with you, and still poison you.
Yeah.
And to get into a business venture that could end up being something very substantial, something very huge for the family. He's in the wrong business with the wrong person. He's in the right business, but with the wrong person.
Now, coming clean, should she come clean in its entirety, or should she minimize the damage by saying, you know what, I met him before I met you.
No.
And
No.
then
No.
and then we hooked up.
You don't necessarily have to give him the. You don't necessarily have to give him the details,
but we didn't go all the way.
No, a kiss is a kiss.
It's a question.
No. You see, the thing is,
we
the thing is,
started, but I realized I loved you too much and I stopped.
Listen,
But he's using it against me.
Even though I don't condone to lies, because the lies are very difficult to maintain. Now, the thing is that if you have a guy who met you and is very mature enough to understand that it was a one-night stand and it's not said anything to you, it's not pressuring you, it's giving you the distance and the respect, it means that one, you can afford to say no because of my own guilty code. You can afford to tweak it a little bit. But the guy is threatening you. For all you know, he has evidence. The time you get, look, if you said when you traveled, the time you traveled, your boyfriend knew when you traveled, your tickets, everything, where you met, maybe that night's cry, you called him, I'm out partying with my friends. You know,
so maybe you didn't go all the way, but he's threatening to tell him that you did.
No, don't lie.
See, the reason
lies
you should
are just
actually tell the truth. The thing is,
if you find out that you lie, everything else the man says is.
I don't think you should be tweaking. I think that you should do summary. A summary. Everybody will. I mean, summarize the whole thing.
We got drunk and we went to tell in bed.
Avoid the terrible details that you know will break his heart.
But he's going to ask for them.
And
that's the unfortunate part.
People
who are cheated on 10 too.
Yeah, if he's asking for them, tell him. If he's asking for details, tell him I cannot give you the details because it will break your heart some more. But the bottom,
so the bottom,
no. My thing is,
you did all the styles in the world.
No, hold on. Olivia, listen. No. I think that we're going to the same point. All I'm saying is that you slept with the guy. You slept with the guy. But the thing is, no.
How long did it happen for? Was it all night? Did you regret it in the morning?
No.
Did you do when you woke up? You sorry prayer? Like what? Like you need to explain this. You would.
Yes, you should answer those questions because at that moment you've done the worst. Just come clean and pray that he forgives you.
So if you're asking for more, did you go all the way?
I honestly don't see how that's going to change the situation, make it any worse or any better.
Say, well, I know I slept with him, but I was drunk, so I don't remember the details.
I like that.
Exactly. Like you got drunk and you slept, and that's exactly, you slept with the person. That's exactly what happened.
But honestly, if you don't remember the details, maybe it never really happened. Now did it?
If you don't remember, then you honestly don't remember the details. But I also don't think that he deserves the unnecessary details just because of his own mental health in the future. Like at the end of the day, whether you did 10 positions, 6 positions, you were standing up, going down, you have slept with the person. How many ever times you have ended up sleeping with the person doesn't change the situation. It doesn't make it any worse, any better. Fornication, adultery is all the same wherever you do it.
If you did it one round, you don't need to give all the details, but when he asks you, you have to tell him.
But that means you stopped and you decided to do it again and
Once
you stopped.
it has gone inside, there's no return.
But the story said it was a one-night stand. So let's assume that it was just one night. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That look, maybe
was it a short night, long night?
You see,
I don't think you ask all those questions.
Why does he do so?
You know what? There are different kinds of people. If you have a man like my husband, he will ask you questions because he will want detailed explanation from the beginning. He wants to paint exactly. Now there are different people. My take is that look, whatever man you have, however you want to manage it, whether it was little information, long information, short information, just don't lie about it. And don't be too explanatory. Be brief about it. However, if he does ask you a specific question, give him that specific answer. Really? I will not be able to tell you that, look, you know what, I won't tell you because the moment I say I won't tell you, I don't want to hurt you, I'm free to assume the worst.
Yes, that you really did go.
Just tell him what it is because you see, there are some holes saying when you are in it, it's like in quicksand. Don't struggle. You be someone. Say. Just admit. You know, and there's beauty in admission because I'm looking at it for myself. When you offend me, and you admit that you've offended me, it ends there. Sometimes it's even paining me that I've admitted because some of the questions I want to ask, the way I want to behave, is stuck in my throat, is stuck in my chest. But once you've admitted, it's difficult to go ahead. So Charlie, just admit and move on. Charlie.
Because immediately you say yes, I'm trying to answer your question. When you said, was there foreplay? Okay, then I go like yes. I mean, God forbid. Right? and then you say yes. And then there's going to be a follow-up question because it's not an open-ended question. And then he says yes. And then the person goes like, okay, so what exactly happened? So did he live this? Did he live that? So,
in your narrative,
oh dear,
in your narrative, don't give those gaps. So just say what happened. And as Rosie said, I was drunk, so I can't give you all the needs, but this is what happened. We got into the room, we took off our dresses, we had sex. That was it.
So what if he had killed you? You entered a room with someone you didn't know?
And he
didn't kill me.
Shouldn't be at the wrong place, at the wrong time, with the wrong person doing the wrong thing.
With a random man and you are now the man take you to your hotel.
Friend. They were friends.
They made like 2 seconds and they were friends.
Oh, AJ, they went for an event. It had ended. We all went out.
These were all your friends? No.
So that's every time you have a friend.
That's why I said I didn't even want to go towards bashing the girl, because if I start bashing her, like, she's already sorry in her state, so there's no point bashing her.
I feel this was an
every time I see you with a man,
mistake is mistake. There's no lies about it.
A man who is mature, who loves you and realizes that this happened in the beginning of the relationship, not when things were really solid, would understand you to some extent. But yes, he would hurt, and he would ask a few questions, and he would behave maybe a bit out of character than you expect him to. This is when you also need to deal with the consequences, because let's say you've stolen, yes, you've been caught, yes, they've forgiven you, okay, but you still have to refund or pay the price for being a thief. So whatever it is, the consequences, you have to pay the consequences. However, you see, if the man truly loves you, and I know he does, like this partner of his is shady. For you, he's been having second thoughts of him, But
so
maybe
a consideration of sleeping with the man to cover it up should not be entertained.
No.
That's a question.
The way this man sounds, he's going to probably have a video recording of the act. He's going to have evidence all over. It's going to mess you up so bad. You know
the best thing she should do? Right after she tells this guy, please tell the guy. Right after you tell the guy, call this idiot of a guy and tell him that, yo, do your worst, because I've already told my guy.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's a good way. And on that note, we'll bring the show to an end. Time flies when you're having fun with things, man. I mean, before you know it, an episode is done. But ladies, it's always a pleasure having you here. Right. The very wonderful Rosie, the always lovely Olivia, and the feisty Felicia. Ladies, always a pleasure having you here. And thank you for being tuned in. Another exciting edition of Sister coming your way live from Live Made Furniture. But before I wrap it up, my final thoughts. And to wrap it up with my final submissions to our very first lady, where she's faced with a very tough decision, where she's faced with being the second wife on one hand and being the long-suffering girlfriend of a man who doesn't know when or if his papers will come out anytime soon. Now, for the first situation, if you honestly see no light at the end of the tunnel, it'll be a good idea to count your losses and let the gentleman go. You may love him, yes, but if you truly feel that you cannot sacrifice what will be some more time in order to see him achieve getting his papers, or have the fear that at some point in time he might meet someone in the UK or in whichever country that he's domiciled in right now, and decide that he's not coming back to Ghana or bringing you there is not worth it, then please put him and you out of your miseries and just count your losses and say goodbye in the best way possible. Now, in the scenario of being a second wife, if you agree to be a second wife, or you feel that your belief system aligns with it, or you find no reason with it, then perhaps you might consider it. If you feel that it is just something in the interim that you were occupying yourself with because of the first gentleman, then perhaps you should also put that poor man out of his misery as well. So it's something that you and you alone can decide. Is being a second wife something that you're capable of doing? Or would you rather just count your losses on both ends and then figure out a better and new way and find out a man that will truly align with all the things that you need and make you just as happy? That is a decision, my dear lady, you have to make. Now, to our second story about a woman who is faced with a dilemma after having a one-night stand. One night of, well, pleasure or stupidity turned into 6 months of torture when she found out that this particular gentleman is rather her boyfriend's business partner and is threatening her that one more night or I shall spill it all. I think you need to come clean with this very great gentleman you described as your boyfriend. He is clearly someone who's into you, clearly seems like a great guy, and maybe, just maybe, might be willing to forgive you for your indiscretion. It's something that happened on a drunk, passionate night, and it shouldn't be held against you forever. You should break it to him in the best possible way, perhaps have people around him that are able to, convey it in the best way, show your remorse, and promise to do anything you can to salvage the relationship and take the power away from this man that is threatening you. And as well, tell your boyfriend that his business partner may not necessarily have his best interests at heart, and all the things he was willing to do to jeopardize their business and as well as your relationship. So please, get this business partner out of this man's life. Maybe your path, if he chooses not to forgive you, is just to show him away from this man that probably is not a very good friend anyways. So I hope he's able to forgive you and truly you're able to salvage your relationship and build a better one, and perhaps marriage may actually be in your future. I wish you well on this particular journey. And to you for tuning in, thank you so much. I hope these scenarios and situations and stories are something, even if you cannot identify with, someone or someone else may. If you have an issue, you feel that you definitely need some clarity, send us a message at sisterislive@gmail.com and let us know exactly what you might be going through, and you just might be our story for next week. Until I come your way again, a very big thank you to our incredible sponsors, Onga, Mama's Helping Hand, of course, Ghana's Aid Commission's Red Ribbon Campaign, and finally, Kel Kids Toothpaste. And a very big thank you to LifeMate for allowing us to come live from their premises. My name is AJ Akwako Sapon. Find me on social media on all platforms at AJ Sapon, and let's get the conversation going. Of course, until I come your way again, keep watching Citi TV and keep listening to Citi FM.